think we did talk about, which is, I mean, interesting looking back, we did talk about how we were parented. And I think a lot of how we were parented plays a role in how we parent. So I think we had some awareness, but we just didn't see it lived out until we were actually in that role.
We actually met at church. It's a pretty funny story. So both of our, I think it starts with both of our backgrounds are in mental health. She's an LCSW, a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. So I was actually married at the time, and a mutual friend was like, "Hey, you guys are both in the same field. You guys should get to meet each other. Maybe you guys will work together or whatever." So we got introduced while I was married, and we like, kind of just said hi and kind of in passing. And then, I don't know if it was like maybe 2 years later or so where I was divorced, and I was like, there's a cute girl that I like got introduced to back when I was in my bad marriage. And we were, and this was at, I don't know if I mentioned, but this was at church. And so we, ended up connecting at that point, and it just felt like God kind of had us in a position where we were both available to make that connection. And yeah, it's been, it was just kind of a natural, easy fit, just in terms of getting to know each other, being compatible with one another. She's just really easy to talk to. It might be a professional background, I don't know, but it didn't hurt. But yeah, so that's kind of how we met. Anything you want to add to that?
So it was a church that I actually grew up in when I was a kid. We actually helped build it. And he was there much later. So I had already gone away to college, came back for grad school. And I was there because they had asked me to kind of, I don't know if it was being on a panel or kind of speak at some event there. And so I told the girls that I was talking with, I was connecting with at the church, that I would go there the next day, because I had actually been going up to Roseville because my stepdad he was a preacher. So I was going and attending that church. So it was just kind of in passing, we had connected again, which was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, really similar. He was very open and honest. Like, there was no games. There was no how do I say this? It was kind of like he was at the point in his life where it's like, look, this is me. This is what I am and what I'm about. Take it or leave it, because I don't want to waste my time. And especially with Darius, right? I can totally appreciate that. So it was that, and I think a lot of it too was having a similar faith background. My dad was Catholic. He had passed when I was young. My mom brought us up in the church. And seeing that, because he didn't always attend with us, and just the impact it had, it's like, well, I do want to have someone that I can share my faith with and grow within our spiritual walk as well. So that was really important to me too. And yeah, and just being open and honest and funny. I mean, he really kind of, when I first met him, I thought he was just kind of
so serious.
Yes. And then he's over here cracking jokes and acting silly. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I can't take myself seriously. I just can't. Life's too short. So I'll just be goofy as I'll get out. And he just goes along with it. So it really helped.
I think we can always find the humor, and I don't know if for me, I can speak personally for me. Like, I don't know if that's a great quality, or maybe I'm not, in every situation there isn't always a joke, but I'm looking for it though. I can tell you that. I'm looking for the joke. And like she said, she's usually with it. And sometimes it could be like kind of sophomore humor. But we both get a laugh out of it. So I think in terms of the humor part of it, I think that's how we take it light. And then really, but really, I think beyond just taking it light and finding a joke, is really investing in time as a couple. It's easy to get lost in the roles of being parents. And that's something that we often talk about. Like, hey, nobody signs up to be a bad parent, right? And regardless of what the results are, we all strive to be, as people, we strive to be, the best parents that we can be. Um, and in that, it's easy to get lost in being not only a father or a mother, but just being a significant another, being a husband and a wife. So we try to, squeeze in the time in our busy schedule to make sure that we honor that and continue to grow that aspect of our relationship. I mean, in terms of being parents, I think we're on the path of raising children who can be, as our son burps real loudly in the background, or probably maybe even our daughter. I don't know. Just respectful human beings, God-fearing human beings. I think that's a big part of it. And in terms of us as a couple, I think just getting to know each other through the course of our life together and to grow together as we grow and we change and evolve over the years. There was a point where I felt like there was a heavy emphasis on my career uh, in my previous employment, and now there was a shift to where the focus is more on the kids and us both being available to them. And I think eventually, once they're kind of off and more independent and doing their own thing, it'll be about us like traveling and being able to see the world together. We started to do a little bit of that, and we mix in that, with the kids, but we definitely want to continue to explore that. And she'll say she wants a lake house, a house by the lake, and I'm like, really, a lake house? The beach? The beach will be cool too, right? So, those are the things that we're looking and hopefully we'll be discovering as we get to that stage.